Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day. I did something with my Himi Gouache that I want to share with you. So my Himi Gouache has dried up completely and I let it dry for years. I've had it at least 2 years. I let it dry out completely. I made the attempt to get these back to the way they were by adding a little water to them, and it didn't work for me. So I'm going to walk you through the process. It did make them a little less dried out, but it really didn't bring them back to life the way I've seen other people on YouTube show. So when I added the water to the Himi Gouache, let me show you. It got goopy, but it didn't go back to its original state, and I was afraid to add too much water to it to the point where it wouldn't work very well. So what I did do was I took the goopy gouache and I made my own little palette. This palette is an old Derwent palette. I have a video that I did on metallic watercolors that I bought, and interestingly enough, all the little paint pans kind of fell out, which is fine because I keep them in a little tin. And so what I thought I would do is take my favorite colors, because there's way more colors in the Himi Gouache. Let's see, there's way more colors in this Himi Gouache than there are in this little palette. So I took my favorite colors and I put them in this palette, and I'm going to practice drawing faces with them to see how this works. I'm assuming it's going to work fine because the gouache dried out over 2 years, and it got to the point where I really wasn't using it because it was so dried out. So I'm excited to see how this works. Then I took the other colors I liked and I put them in this little pan. And this is a pan that I got from IKEA when I bought IKEA paints. And I have a video on my review of IKEA art supplies. So I'll leave a link to that video in the description of this video, but let's see if we can do some painting of faces or people, I'm not sure which, with my new little tiny Himi Gouache palette that I made myself. Okay, I have a pencil and I'm going to draw with pencil, and then I'm going to use these gouache paints that I put in here, and we're going to see how it works. I'm sorry if there's any background noise. There's a lot of kids playing outside right now, so you're going to hear that. But I'm going to quickly sketch a face, and then there's the dogs that are down the street. So I'm just quickly sketching a face just to see what the gouache, how the gouache would work, because it's actually nicer having it in a smaller palette that I could put right here, and you could see what colors I'm choosing when I'm painting versus. And I like that they're slightly goopy. I just couldn't get them the way they were originally. And I'm not sure how this face is going to turn out. I've been doing a lot of fruit lately. I don't know if you guys have been watching my Instagram, but I've been doing a lot of fruit. Just practicing daily sketching. All right, I'm kind of thinking this is okay. And if you're new to my channel, I have How to Draw Faces ebook. I will leave a link in the description as well as in the comment section. I don't want to draw all the details of her because, oops. Oh, I don't want to draw all the details simply because I want to paint it. So we'll just put lips there. She's kind of looking, I don't know how those eyes look. I feel like her eyebrows are too close to her eyes. Okay, before I get into all sorts of detail, I just did a quick sketch, and now we're going to play with this face. And the other thing I want to mention is I mixed some colors together to try to create different skin tones and plopped them in here. So some of these are colors that I've mixed myself when I had the gouache goopy enough to mix it. I also have Holbein Goauche that I just put in here and then added as well, and then let it dry. I kind of like gouache when it's dry versus the Himi Gouache when it's wet. Okay, hopefully you can see that. And I just have some watercolor brushes, just regular watercolor brushes. And I think I'll just start with this skin tone that peachy tone anyway, that I got. That's from the Himi Gouache. And I'm really practicing my loose drawing. I wonder if you could hear Charlie is going crazy. There's baby crying, there's dog barking, all of it. Okay, I kind of like that. And now I'm going to use some of the colors that I mixed myself. I'm kind of excited. Will it work? I don't know. I mixed this one myself, so just add a little water to it. I always have like a little paper up here so I could test things out. It's a little bit darker, so maybe I'll do it where the shadows are. Just tapping it. And one of the things that I found is I like a different color reds and pinks. So let's see if this will work. I don't even remember what I did. Oh, I kind of like that. Let's do that for her lips. Oh, I feel kind of happy. I feel kind of happy, even if my drawing's not the greatest. It's nice to be able to play with this and see how it'll work. Let's see. I think I'm going to give her some light blue hair. I'm just using this. This is how I do it. I just add a little bit of water. You can also put it on your, like I have a palette down here. You could put it in here, but I don't like getting that dirty. I'm adding a bit of a darker blue to it. A lot of times closer to the head, it'll get darker from a shading perspective. I feel like I'm kind of liking how this lady is looking. Hopefully you can see it. And now I might add some darker red. I'm trying to also not overdo my artwork. So this is the darker red that I have. It's like an orangey red. Again, from the Himi Gouache palette. Look how bright and cheery this is. Look at that. I love that. Okay. And now I'm going to just put it on her lips. And I don't want to cover over everything I've already done. I kind of like that. I think I'm going to try to mix it with a bit of the pink. See, I added too much water to the Himi Gouache to try to reactivate it. I'm glad I put some in this palette because at least I didn't ruin it. But I think if you let your Himi Gouache dry for too long, it's quite hard to reactivate it. Even though I saw a lot of videos showing me how, I thought, oh, that'll be easy. It really wasn't. But I figured something out for myself. I like the way she's looking. I don't want to do too much. I think I might add a little dark blue maybe. I don't know. I think this is a dark blue right here. I'm trying to stick to my messy style. It's a Sharpie Gel Pen. I'm just trying to work on simplicity and not overdoing my art, which I always have the tendency to do. So I'm just going to try to draw in her. One of the things I really like about gouache is how matte it is. It's so matte that you can really put anything on top of it. And maybe people, the other thing I like is that it's more opaque, I would say, than when I'm using watercolor. I just really like gouache, I don't know why. I might put some yellow or something there. I feel like that Sharpie Gel Pen is really good too. Notice how it's not smearing or smudging when I add the water to it. I think it does if you add a lot of water to it, but overall it didn't, which I think is great. And I think I'll add some earrings. And maybe a necklace. I think I'm going to play with this a bit more. I'm going to show you something else. But I like the way this turned out. I'm not really a fan of her eyes, but you could tell like the gouache is great. I could like pack this up. This is just Himi Gouache. I could pack it up with me and take it wherever with my favorite colors for mixing. I did want to do one other thing. One of the least expensive and most fun art supplies I've ever played with are Tempera paint sticks, recommended to me by someone who's a viewer watching my videos. And I like adding them on top of basically anything that I've done. These are just Craft Smart. I think they're Michael's tempera paints, and they're sparkly too, which I really like. And I also like that these ones are a neon color. So let's say I laid the gouache down. If I want to put this on top and just add like a shimmer to it, it actually adds a shimmer. And I'm going to do it to her hair too, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh, that's not it. Let's see. Got this one here. I think it adds something to it. You might not like what I've done here. It's hard for me to see while I'm doing it. Again, this is just a sketchbook. It's meant to be fun. So I like playing with all my art supplies. And again, if you're following me on Instagram, you could see that I'm really playing with all of my art supplies. I think I'm gonna make her hair a little bit longer. And mixing and matching and seeing what I could do with them. I'm gonna make her cheeks a bright pink. There's a gold one. Oh, I love this too, and it's really sparkly. So if I put it where her earrings are, and I'm just showing you, like, this is just for fun. I think what I'll do too is add a little white to her. I added a little blue highlighter. I got this. This is a Staples, just a blue highlighter to try to fix her eyes. I don't really think it did much, but I think I really like my gouache and what I did with it to create my own palette. I think I'll do one more face in the art journal. Let's see. We can do one more. I'm very happy with this. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm not going to add any more details to it. I know it's not perfect, but overall this was really fun. And I didn't use the Tempera paint sticks, but I did use my gel pens. Gouache is so much fun to play around with, and I'm really glad I made my little palette. It makes it easier for doing videos. I did dig into this one. You can see some of them are a little bit wet, but again, I worry about adding too much water and then ruining them. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Didn't bring them back to life exactly the way I wanted them to, but it certainly worked well for me. I'd love to hear from you guys what kind of gouache you use, and if you drew along with me on these faces today. And I just wanted to share with you the video that I took, because I thought the whole video I was going to do was about how easy it was to reactivate the Himi Gouache, when in reality it took a lot more effort than I thought, and I never did reactivate it fully the way I wanted to, but I am still using them and I'm quite happy, even though I could not make them back into the jelly gouache that they were. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching.